Today on the newscast, a senior Hezbollah commander taken out, plus where is Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar? Get all the breaking details next. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast. As you can see, I'm not in the usual friendly confines of the TBN studio where I'm usually coming to you from, but these are pretty friendly confines right now. I'm on vacation with my family getting some beach time, but before I head to the beach, I had to bring you a breaking news update. A senior, one of the foremost senior Hezbollah commanders that Israel has eliminated so far was eliminated today, July 3rd, by the Israel Defense Forces in the coastal city of Tyre in Lebanon. And folks, already Hezbollah is responding to the death of this senior commander. Again, according to Israel, this is one of the top 3 Hezbollah commanders that the IDF has taken out since Hezbollah, key point there, Hezbollah began barraging Israel unprovoked on October 8th, the day after the October 7th massacre. So this was a big fish that Israel took out today. And as I said, Hezbollah already responded. I'm going to tell you how they're responding and what comes next and why this Hezbollah commander was such an important target for Israel. That's number one. And number two, where is Yahya Sinwar? I mean, this has been over 8 months now since October 7th. He's the Hamas leader in Gaza. He was the mastermind behind the October 7th massacre. So where is he? He's in a tunnel complex somewhere in Gaza. We know that. But where? Rafah? Khan Yunis? Did he even creep back into Gaza City? That's unlikely, of course. But where exactly is he? And key point here, folks, and I want to know what you think about this. If Israel does not eliminate or capture Yahya Sinwar, and the greater likelihood is elimination, if he is not killed, can Israel consider the Gaza campaign a success overall? It's clearly been successful. Hamas has been absolutely decimated, and Israel apparently just destroyed one of the last major Hamas rocket launching pads in Rafah. But if Sinwar is still alive, and if Mohammad Naameh, who is the military leader of Hamas in Gaza, if those two, the two main leaders of Hamas in Gaza, are still alive when the dust settles here and the IDF pulls out of Gaza, largely pulls out, and major combat operations end, how do you feel about that? Is that a disappointment? Does that leave Hamas in a position to possibly strike another day? Let's discuss that too. But hey, first, quick reminder before we dig into this major event in Lebanon today. If you have not subscribed, be sure to subscribe to the Watchman Newscast, the Stakelbeck channel, right here on YouTube, and click the notification bell so you get alerts every time a new video is posted. Folks, we're coming to you practically every day, Monday through Friday. Today's a shorter video, but we do a lot of live streams. But today's a bit shorter. I am on vacay with the family. But hey, even on vacation, even on the weekends, we know the Middle East never sleeps. And folks, we want to be your one-stop shop for everything happening in the world's most volatile and chaotic region for such a time as this. This is news. It's current events from an unapologetically biblical perspective. So let's dig into it. Just going to check this out from the Times of Israel, just reading this straight off my laptop. Pardon me for looking down. A senior Hezbollah commander was killed today in an Israeli airstrike in southern Lebanon. His name, Mohammad Naameh Nasser. He was one of the highest ranking officials in Hezbollah to be killed in the 9 months of fighting along the Israel-Lebanon border. And Hezbollah, I told you they responded, folks. They responded today swiftly by firing at least 100 rockets at northern Israel. Here's more. Hezbollah has confirmed the death of Mohammad Naameh Nasser, also known as Abu Naameh, from the South Lebanon town of Hadassah, his hometown, but he was struck while traveling in a car about 12 miles north of the Israel-Lebanon border in the coastal city of Tyre, and a second Hezbollah fighter was also killed in this same airstrike. We don't know if it was a drone or an Israeli fighter jet, but he was traveling in a car when he was eliminated. Hezbollah, in a statement, referred to Nasser as a commander. Now, Hezbollah uses that designation sparingly. They don't always say this was a commander, but they said, look, when Hezbollah says it's one of their commanders, you know it's a big fish. It's a designation the terror group rarely uses. It only uses it to refer to very, very senior operatives killed in Israeli strikes. And they always say, and we've discussed this on previous newscasts, that he was killed on the road to Jerusalem. Always. That's the obituary for every Hezbollah fighter that was killed. And folks, that tells you how central Jerusalem is to the Iranian axis, to the jihad, both on the Shia side, obviously, with the Iranian axis, and the Sunni side. The entire world, including the jihadist world, covets the city of Jerusalem, folks. And that's no coincidence. The prophet Zechariah was very clear in chapter 12 of the book of Zechariah that a day is coming when Jerusalem will become like a burdensome stone for all nations. Everyone will covet it, but everyone who comes against Jerusalem will be cut to pieces. And you can add Hezbollah to that list if they continue. And sadly, I expect them to continue until the IDF decisively strikes at Hezbollah, which is most likely coming very soon. More on that in a minute. But, excuse me, several hours after the strike, the IDF confirmed, which is also rare. The IDF said, yeah, we did it. You know the MO, folks. If you watch the Watchman here on a regular basis, the MO of Israel is usually we neither confirm nor deny. Well, they're confirming we did it. They confirmed and said that since 2016, Nasser had commanded a Hezbollah unit in southern Lebanon, the unit responsible for Lebanon's southwestern region. And it's one that's carried out hundreds of attacks against northern Israel, against the upper and western Galilee over the past 9 months. So you can see why Israel targeted him. But folks, it continues, right? The situation, it's unsustainable for Israel, the situation on the northern border. You know this, if you're watching this and following this on a regular basis. Look, 60,000, maybe closer to 100,000 Israeli civilians evacuated from their homes in the north along the Lebanon border. No return date. You can't return if Hezbollah is perched there on that northern border with every intention to carry out attacks similar, if not greater, than October 7th. So Israel, it's not a question of if, but when. Israel is going to strike Hezbollah hard. And they're going to have to go in on the ground to do that, Israeli forces. The goal is to at least push Hezbollah beyond the Litani River, which is some 18, 19 miles north of the Israel-Lebanon border. In the meantime, and we discussed this on yesterday's live stream, if you miss any of our newscast, our live stream, just go to the archives. It's right under newscast on our homepage here. And again, if you're there, be sure to subscribe. But we said, look, there's a very strong likelihood that Iran will directly get involved when Israel and Hezbollah, and it could be this month, it could be August, a date to circle on your calendar. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, speaking to the U.S. Congress, addressing the U.S. Congress in D.C. on July 24th. Could it be after that? But something to keep in mind, Iran, look, Hezbollah and Iran's calculus, too big to fail. Hezbollah is the Iranian regime's crown jewel. When we look at that Iranian ring of fire that surrounds Israel on all sides, Hezbollah is irreplaceable for the Iranian regime. Too big to fail. So if Hezbollah is on the ropes and about to be stamped out like Hamas and Islamic Jihad are in Gaza right now, Iran may very well directly intervene to bail out their crown jewel. They've already lost Gaza. That's a ring on that ring of fire that's now disappeared. But Hezbollah, again, too big to fail, especially as Iran has held Hezbollah in reserve as the striking horse, the responding force to any Israeli strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. The plan, and we've said this all along here on The Watchman, if Israel is going to strike Iran's nuclear facilities, it should simultaneously strike Hezbollah as well. Because you know that when that strike comes on Iran's nuclear facilities, that Iran automatically is going to activate Hezbollah. Well, we may not get to that point because before that nuclear facility strike happens, I have no idea, maybe a year, 2 years from now, Israel's going to tangle with Hezbollah, it seems, folks, sooner rather than later. And if Israel's all in on crushing Hezbollah, which I believe they may very well be, then Iran may get involved directly. Fasten your seatbelt. Last point here, and we'll see if there's any further Hezbollah responses to today's takeout of Nasser. But last point, Yahya Sinwar, I mentioned this in the title. A very small circle of no more than 2 or 3 people at most knows the whereabouts of Yahya Sinwar and secures his various needs. as well as ensuring his communication with the movement, the Hamas movement, a demonic death cult, its leaders inside and outside of Gaza. So he is able to communicate in Qatar with the leadership there, Ismail Haniyeh, and the various wretches, demonic Hamas leaders who are based in Qatar. But Sinwar is alive, and he may very well, according to this report out of London, be in Khan Yunis and not in Rafah, but certainly in a tunnel complex someplace holed up. And we've heard reports over the months that he may have surrounded himself with Israeli hostages, of course. So the plot thickens, but what do you think? I'm going to leave that out for you. And tomorrow's the 4th of July, but Friday I plan to join you all. And I'd like to know your thoughts. If Israel crushed, well, they're in the process of crushing Hamas completely. Some 900 Hamas jihadis killed in Rafah over the past few weeks. But if Israel pulls out of Gaza and Sinwar and Daesh, and Israel will always keep it and occupy some small force there, at least for the foreseeable future, playing a game of whack-a-mole to make sure Hamas doesn't revitalize and regroup. But if Sinwar and Daesh are still alive, what's your take on that? If they're alive, if we're sitting here a year from now and they were never caught, what's your take on that? Now, I think they don't or they won't have much of a capability to engineer anything because Israel has so decimated Hamas's fighters and its rocket arsenals. But still, is it symbolic that they would still be alive? But let's chat about it. Friday, I plan to hopefully come back to you guys. Tomorrow, happy 4th, all my American friends celebrating, and we have viewers around the world, of course. But thanks so much for joining us here, folks. I'm going to hit the beach for a little bit, but I'm still following things. In this line of work, you can never completely step away. But, hey, we do it for such a time as this. This is the job God has given us to do, and we're going to do it. So God bless you, and remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload, and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. And don't forget to share your thoughts, insights, and comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.